Who's ready to get spooky? And by this I mean who's ready to get extremely creeped out and potentially have trouble sleeping tonight. I am. But I feel like now I've done so much research on so many scary topics that I'm just permanently numb. It takes a lot to scare me nowadays. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today I'm bringing you the Top 10 Scary Internet Urban Legends Part 6. Yes, there are 6 parts already, so if you haven't seen the other parts of the series, make sure you check those out as well. With that being said, spooky time. Starting off this countdown, we have The Stranger Under the Bed. Posted on Reddit by the user Myra, this legend follows a 22-year-old girl that just moved into her first apartment. One day, while talking to her boyfriend on the phone, she dropped her phone by her bed. When she went to pick up her phone, she saw a man lying under her bed with his back to her. She got her phone and acted all cool, so she went to the bathroom, and then she hopped out the window, and she could do this since she was on the first floor, and then she called the cops. When the cops arrived, they dragged a thin, tired-looking man out of her house. The police found him standing outside her bathroom door, holding one of her kitchen knives. Apparently, this man crept into her apartment while she was out getting mail, and then planned to kill her. Be safe, everyone. Even getting mail nowadays can be deadly. Moving on to number 9, we have The Operator. Posted on Reddit by Higgs Thunder, this legend surrounds a 911 operator that received a very disturbing call. It starts off with the man telling the operator that there is a strange man stumbling around in his yard, and it was in the middle of the night. Things start to take a weird turn when the man turns upside down doing a handstand. I mean, he's obviously talented, but creepy. The man notices that he has a creepy huge smile plastered on his face. This creepy man eventually presses his face on the window. The man on the phone described him as having huge teeth with no color in his eyes. The call ends with the operator asking if he is alone in the house. The man says yes, but the creep outside shakes his head no, telling him no, he's not alone. Then the operator hears a loud noise and the call ends. In our 8th spot, we have OM. This legend surrounds a mysterious car with its license plate scratched off, so only the letters OM are visible. Back in college, a boy named Tim and his friends went to go get Dunkin' Donuts at 2 a.m. But the closest one was across state lines. They were in New Hampshire, and to get to Dunkin' Donuts, they needed to travel through a narrow highway and some woods. On the way back from getting their food, they noticed that the car with the license plate OM was following them. When they slowed down, the car would too. If they sped up, so would OM. This continued for quite some time, and Tim and all his friends were super creeped out. Eventually, they lost him when there was a fork in the highway and they both went their separate ways. Turns out that there was a murder in a neighboring country, and a witness saw a car with the license plate OM drive away from the scene. This has led them to believe that OM is a cross-country serial killer. Coming in at number 7, we have the Black-Eyed Children. We have the Black-Eyed Peas. No. This legend is definitely one to keep you up at night. The legend surrounds children whose eyes are completely black that make an appearance at night. The kids can be anywhere from 6 to 16 years old, and they target adults who are alone. But they aren't actually children. Although they look like them, they're said to be some sort of creature that takes their form as a child. These kids often ask for favors, such as asking to get a ride home with them, asking for food, or to use the bathroom in their house. It's said that once you let them in, they will commit acts of extreme violence. Now, there are too many stories about people encountering these children. 1998 was said to be the first recorded encounter. A man claims that 2 black-eyed children tried to get a drive from him. Apparently, the children said, and I quote, "We can't get into your car until you do. Just let us in. We will be gone before you know it." Yikes, good thing he didn't let them in. He would have been gone before you know it. In our 6th spot, we have the GOATMAN. This is a pretty popular urban legend, and sorry if you like camping or hiking in the woods, because this story might just ruin that for you. Legend goes that a weird goatman type creature lurks the forest of some areas. This creature is described as a man with the head of a goat that can shapeshift into different forms. He uses these forms to get into friend groups and terrorize them. It's said that it's bad luck if you talk about it or if you see it. Great. I'm gonna have bad luck now for the sake of your entertainment, so you're welcome. Y'all better give this video a big thumbs up. Now, you'll always know when this creature is lurking around, since a weird, nasty smell will plague the air. The scent is described as a heavy, coppery smell. In one particular story, a group of friends head out to stay at one of the friends' uncle's cabins. However, during the trip, they're constantly being tormented by this GOATMAN. It started with the GOATMAN following them in the woods late at night to eventually getting into the cabin with them. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the cyber stalker. Legend surrounds Colby, a 10-year-old boy that played on several online children's games. On one of those websites, he made friends with a boy. After several months of friendship, Colby's birthday was coming up and his online friend wanted to send him a cool present in real life. So Colby gave him his address even though his parents told him to never give out his address online. He became filled with guilt and wished he never shared his personal information, but it was too late. Later that night, he admitted to his parents what he had done. His mom proceeded to say, "You shouldn't have done that. We told you to never give out personal information on the internet. He wasn't really a kid. He just pretended to be one. Do you know what he did? He came in our house, broke in, and murdered both of us, just so he could spend some time with you." After she finished saying this, a big man entered Colby's room holding the 2 severed heads of his parents. Colby tried to escape, but sadly the man ended Colby's life as well. And that, my friends, is why you shouldn't share your personal information online. Moving on to number 4, we have Return to Sender. This legend was posted on Reddit by the user Meninlicet. The legend surrounds a man who I'm going to refer to as John and his neighbor who is a wannabe YouTube star who we're gonna call Dylan, just so we don't get confused. So one day Dylan goes to John and asks him to collect his mail as he's going to be out of town for a bit. Over the course of a couple days, he collected some bills and junk mail, nothing too odd. That was until one day he received a cardboard box labeled Return to Sender. The box was oddly heavy, but John still managed to lug it back to his house. He was putting it in his garage when he dropped the box and heard a crack. He was scared that he broke something important, but decided that if the neighbor ever asked him about it, he'd just be like, nah, I didn't break it, it broke en route. Now days go by, and his garage and house start to fill with a terrible odor. He realized that it was coming from this box. When he opened the box to see what was causing the smell, he found his neighbor's dead body packaged up in the box. A vlogging camera in the box revealed that he had planned to mail himself across state lines. In the last entry, the box toppled over and he broke his neck and died. The camera kept recording until the battery died. However, John realized that just after the neighbor broke his neck, he heard his own garage door screech open, meaning that when John dropped the box, that's what killed his neighbor. Making our way down the list at number 3, we have AUTOPILOT. This legend surrounds a man named Gavin. In the evenings, he taught English and biology in a poor neighborhood. Apparently, a lot of murders and abductions and carjackings happen in that neighborhood. As a result, after his last student, he would always run to his car, lock his doors, and drive away fast. He said that he did this so many times that it was an automatic instinct. One evening, he stayed longer than usual to help one of his students study for a test. After he finished, he ran to his car like usual, but he said that something felt off. The street and his car were both different from what he remembered. That's when he noticed a woman was sitting in the passenger seat of his car. She had something in her hand that looked like a weapon and was shouting in a language that he didn't understand. He then drove off and she kept gesturing which way for him to drive. He claims that this woman was very crazy and he feared for his own life. The woman then started to scratch and hit him. As self-defense, he fought back until she stopped moving. Only then, when she was dead, did he realize that there were 2 small children in the backseat of his car just staring at him. He looked around the car and realized that he had gotten into the wrong car. Same model, same color, but it wasn't his. What's creepy about this legend is that it's based on several true stories about similar events that have happened. In our second spot, we have the old new house. Legend surrounds a couple who bought an old house and had plans to flip it to make it look new. Well, the previous owners wallpapered every wall and ceiling of the house, so they were stuck removing tons of wallpaper. What was weird was that under a corner section of the paper in every room was a person's name and date. When Googling the name, they found out that it was a missing person with the date that they went missing. They notified the police and turns out that the material they were removing from the walls wasn't wallpaper. It was human flesh. And in our number 1 spot, we have the living history. This legend surrounds a teacher that learned something very disturbing from one of her students' history projects. For this project, the students had to have an interview with their grandparents and record the conversation. The teacher was marking some of the projects when she started watching the interview conducted by one of her students, Olivia. Olivia was interviewing her great uncle Stephen when he shared with her one of his memories that still haunts him. He says that back in the day he was assigned to clean up a school that had been destroyed by civil wars. In the basement he found a letter. The letter was written by the janitor of the school, whose name was Stanislav. It basically says how he lost his wife and kids, but what made him happy was listening to his radio all day while cleaning the school, and from seeing the students smile at him as he passed by. The school appreciated his cleaning and they were really dependent on him. However, towards the end of the letter, we find out that his radio stopped working, which was one of the things keeping him from falling into a deep state of depression. After he couldn't get it to work, he hung himself in the school's basement where her great uncle found him. But that's not all. Turns out that the school was destroyed 2 years ago, but the letter was dated 2 weeks before her uncle started rebuilding the school. Meaning, this man, Stanislav, went to a vandalized, falling apart schoolhouse and cleaned up blood and rubble. But he was imagining that he was cleaning up spilled drinks and dust. He smiled at dead bodies in the hallway and believed that they were students smiling back at him because they liked his radio. He moved around corpses so he could sweep the ground under them. Creepiest part? The radio never stopped working. When he found the janitor's body, the radio was still on and playing. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments for my video, Top 10 Scary Trolls Theories. Raria Dragonide commented, Poppy, the Bergen Trolls can't sing or dance. Bergen Trolls literally sings on how sad they are in the movie. I know, I realized it. It's like in High School Musical 2 when Chad's like, I don't dance while he's dancing. Like it makes no sense. Or how in High School Musical 1, all the people are like, singing's not cool, get your head in the game, but then they go and they sing and dance to get your head in the game. I don't understand it either. MOSOP, class of 2020, commented, I really wish I could be featured in this. My name is Esther if you want to feature me. Hey, how's it going? Here's your feature. Galaxy67 commented, I'm so glad you're all staying safe and yet still pumping out all of these videos. A big thanks goes out to all of the MA hosts and hostesses for giving an awesome job giving all of us great videos to keep us occupied during this tragic time. I really like this comment. Thank you so much for commenting that. It means a lot. And that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you.